So, you had genetic testing done, and after a few weeks of waiting, you get your results back in a report. In it, it says you have a variant of uncertain significance, also known as a VUS. But what does that actually mean for you? To answer that, we first need to understand what genetics is and why you or your healthcare provider decided to pursue genetic testing in the first place. You can think of DNA as your body's instruction manual, guiding every cell on how to work. Every cell holds a copy of this book. Chromosomes are like the chapters, and within those chapters are genes, which you can think of as paragraphs containing instructions for traits like hair color, eye color, or height. Within those paragraphs are sentences, which represent your DNA sequence. These sentences are unique to you and tell your body exactly how to build and function. Sometimes small changes occur within these sentences. These are called variants or mutations. You can think of these like a letter being swapped, a word being removed, or a word being added in. Just like in any book, some edits make no difference at all, while others may change the meaning and make the instructions confusing. So, you might be wondering how common these differences really are. In fact, everyone has around 4 to 5 million differences in their DNA. So, variation is completely normal and is part of what makes each of us unique. While some changes can affect a person's health, many have no impact on their health at all. Genetic testing helps to sort through these differences and help determine whether any of them might be important for your health. When these changes are found, labs group them into three main categories: benign, pathogenic, and as a variant of uncertain significance. Benign variants are harmless changes in the DNA that do not have an effect on your health. They are simply part of what makes each of us unique. Pathogenic variants, on the other hand, are changes that do cause harm and are linked to certain diseases. These two categories are easier to understand because one means the change is harmless and the other means it is harmful. But what happens when a change does not clearly fit into either category? This is where the VUS comes in. So, what exactly is a VUS? A variant is classified as a VUS when there isn't enough information to say whether it can be benign or pathogenic. In other words, this type of result does not provide any clear information about your personal health or your risk for developing a disease at this time. So, why is there this uncertainty? Because genetic testing is improving, we are able to find many more variants than ever before, but research hasn't caught up to explain what all of them mean just yet. Until more information becomes available, some variants remain uncertain. Another reason is that most genetic databases, where variant scientists search through for evidence, are not fully diverse. Many underrepresent people from a range of ethnic and cultural backgrounds. Because of this, individuals from underrepresented groups are more likely to receive a VUS result, which can understandably lead to a lot of uncertainty and frustration. So, what does a VUS mean for your care right now? It is important to know that a VUS is not able to guide your medical care. This result cannot be used to prevent, delay, treat, or reduce the symptoms of disease. Instead, any medical recommendations you receive will be based on your personal and family medical history, coming from a healthcare professional. At this point, you may be wondering, why did I receive this result if it's not actionable? That is a completely normal and valid question. As more research becomes available, we gain new pieces of information that help scientists better classify genetic variants. Sometimes This new evidence comes from studying more people who have the same genetic difference, which helps determine whether the variant is benign or pathogenic, which can lead to reclassifying this variant later on. So your report includes a VUS so that it can be monitored over time for reclassification. In most cases, the VUS will be reclassified as benign. Reclassification not only benefits you by providing clearer answers, but also helps others with the same variant. This can lead to a better understanding of whether the variant is linked to disease and may contribute to improved treatment options or screening strategies in the future. By staying informed and advocating for updates on the reclassification of your VUS, you ensure that you receive the most current information related to your genetic test result. Now that we have explored what a VUS is and how its classification may change over time, you might be wondering how to follow up about reclassification in the future. Before your next appointment, take a moment to note any questions you'd like to ask your healthcare provider about your VUS result. Make sure to add any of these questions to your list in case you did not already think of them. This will help you feel prepared for your next appointment. One of the common guiding questions you may want to consider is asking, does the lab have specific guidelines for reclassifying VUS results? If so, how often are VUS classifications reviewed? And if the lab does not routinely review VUSs, who should I contact to request a reclassification in the future? These are important questions to ask, as different laboratories follow different criteria when it comes to reclassifying a VUS. When it comes to a timeline for reclassifying VUS results, some professional groups recommend revisiting VUS classifications every 12 to 18 months. However, not every VUS will be eventually reclassified, and some may take many years before new evidence becomes available. If you are interested in having your VUS reassessed in the future, be sure to discuss this with your healthcare provider to plan the appropriate next steps for you. Another common concern regarding genetic test results is, how would this VUS impact my insurance? The simple answer is no, it won't. Your genetic information cannot be used to discriminate against you or your family members in receiving goods, services, or employment under the protection of the Genetic Non-Discrimination Act. Now that you understand what a VUS is and what it means for you, you may also be wondering what it could mean for your family. Whether you choose to share this information or keep it private is entirely your decision and should be based on what makes you the most comfortable. There is no right or wrong answer. In most cases, it is not recommended to share a VUS result with family members because it is not informative or medically actionable, and sharing it may cause unnecessary worry. For that same reason, testing other family members based on a VUS result is generally not recommended. However, family members may still ask questions or want to support you after you receive your results. Depending on your family dynamic, having open conversations may help reduce stress and provide reassurance. Having that support system during this time can be valuable. If you do decide to share this information with a relative, try and think of some starting points for your discussion. Make sure to add any of these talking points in case you did not already think of them. Some of the things to consider is, first, make sure to use language that is easy for your family to understand. For example, instead of saying variant, you may say mutation or change. Or show them the beginning of this video, where we help describe what a VUS is. Emphasize that a VUS doesn't mean that it's good news or bad news. It simply means we do not know what it means yet. Remind them that while we may not have an answer right now, this can change in the future as more research becomes available and technology advances. Remind them that also the VUS result is not medically actionable, meaning no treatment or preventative steps are recommended based on this result alone for you or your family. Having a VUS doesn't mean there are no answers at all. It simply means we don't have an answer right now. While uncertainty can be frustrating, it's important to remember that research is always advancing. By asking the right questions and staying connected with your healthcare team, you can feel confident that more answers may come with time and that you'll have support and guidance along the way. Hopefully, this webinar has helped answer some of your questions about VUSs, and you feel more assured about how to manage these results. Remember to bring these questions with you to your next appointment, and thank you for watching. This video is brought to you by the students of the Medical Genomics program at the University of Toronto. It was designed and created by Weir, Kayla, and Mahek, and the narration was done by Kayla.